With a little bit of time to think, I realized where I wanted to go and how best to get there, and it just seems like...
Fast and Loud star Aaron Kaufman, the mechanical genius behind Gas Monkey Garage's most incredible builds, faced a devastating moment that would shatter everything he had worked for. But what crushing blow did Kaufman face, and how did it lead to the most painful decision of his career? Join us as we uncover the story behind one of automotive television's most heartbreaking departures. The rise of a mechanical prodigy. Aaron Kaufman's journey began long before the cameras started rolling and the world discovered his extraordinary talents. Born on January 26, 1982 in Crowley, Texas, Aaron wasn't your typical child dreaming of fame or fortune. Instead, he was the quiet kid in the corner of the garage, completely mesmerized by the intricate dance of pistons, gears, and metal that brought machines to life. Growing up in Texas, Aaron was surrounded by car culture, but his approach was different. While other kids talked about horsepower and speed, Aaron was fascinated by the soul of the machine, the craftsmanship, the precision, the art of creation. His hands seemed to understand metal in ways that others couldn't comprehend. What started as childhood curiosity slowly transformed into an obsession that would define his entire existence. Aaron's early years were marked by countless hours spent learning, experimenting, and perfecting his craft. He wasn't interested in shortcuts or quick fixes. He wanted to understand every bolt, every weld, every component that made a vehicle come alive. This meticulous attention to detail would later become his trademark, but it also became his burden, a perfectionist trapped in a world that increasingly valued speed over substance. When Aaron joined Gas Monkey Garage, he thought he had found his paradise. Here was a place where creativity could flourish, where impossible builds could become reality, and where his talents would be celebrated. Richard Rawlings, the charismatic owner, recognized Aaron's genius immediately. Together, they seemed unstoppable. Richard's vision, combined with Aaron's execution, created automotive magic that captivated millions of viewers worldwide. For years, Aaron Kaufman was the beating heart of Gas Monkey Garage, while Richard Rawlings grabbed the spotlight with his larger-than-life personality and business acumen. Aaron worked tirelessly in the shadows, transforming rusted hulks into automotive masterpieces. His fabrication skills were legendary. He could take a pile of scrap metal and create something that looked like it rolled off a factory floor decades ago. But success came with a price that few viewers ever witnessed. Behind the cameras, Aaron was carrying an enormous burden. Every impossible deadline, every complex build, every moment of television magic required him to push himself beyond human limits. The pressure was relentless, and Aaron began to feel like he was drowning in his own success. The show's demands were crushing. What looked like fun and games on television was actually a grueling schedule of 14-hour days, impossible deadlines, and constant pressure to deliver miracles. Aaron found himself becoming a prisoner of his own talents. The garage that once felt like home began to feel like a gilded cage, and the work that once brought him joy became a source of exhaustion and frustration. Friends and colleagues began to notice changes in Aaron. The quiet, focused craftsman was becoming withdrawn and distant. The spark that once lit up his eyes when he talked about cars was dimming. He was burning out. But in a world that demanded constant performance, there was no time to rest, no space to breathe, no opportunity to rediscover the passion that had brought him there in the first place. The tragedy that would ultimately break Aaron Kaufman wasn't a single catastrophic event. It was the slow, agonizing death of his love for the craft that had once defined him. Years of relentless pressure, impossible deadlines, and the constant demand for perfection had taken their toll. The man who could build anything was slowly being destroyed by his own success. Aaron began to realize that he had become disconnected from the very thing that made him special. The artistic vision, the creative problem-solving, the pure joy of creation, all of it was being suffocated by the demands of television production. He was no longer a craftsman. He had become a performer, and the performance was killing him. The breaking point came when Aaron looked around the garage one day and realized he no longer recognized the place that had once been his sanctuary. The walls seemed to be closing in. The projects felt mechanical and soulless. soulless, and the passion that had driven him for decades was nowhere to be found. He was living someone else's dream, while his own was slowly dying. Friends close to Aaron described him during this period as a man haunted by his own success. He would work late into the night, not because he was passionate about the project, but because he was trying to recapture something that felt lost forever. The garage that had once been filled with laughter and creativity had become a place of silent suffering. The impossible choice. The decision to leave Gas Monkey Garage wasn't just a career change for Aaron Kaufman. It was a desperate attempt to save his own soul. After years of building everyone else's dreams, he had to face the heartbreaking reality that he had lost himself in the process. The very success that had made him famous had also made him a stranger to himself. The announcement of Aaron's departure sent shockwaves through the automotive community. Fans couldn't understand how someone could walk away from what appeared to be the perfect job. But what they didn't see was the internal struggle that had been tearing Aaron apart. He wasn't leaving because he wanted to. He was leaving because he had to. The decision was devastating not just for Aaron, but for everyone who had worked alongside him. Gas Monkey Garage without Aaron Kaufman was like a symphony without its conductor. The technical expertise, the artistic vision, the quiet leadership that had made the garage special, all of it was walking out the door. Richard Rawlings, despite his public persona, was reportedly heartbroken by Aaron's decision. He had built his empire around Aaron's talents, and losing him felt like losing a brother. The partnership that had created automotive television gold was crumbling, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. After leaving Gas Monkey Garage, Aaron faced the daunting task of rebuilding not just his career, but his entire identity. The man who had been known for his association with one of the most famous automotive shows on television was now starting over, trying to remember who he was before the cameras and the fame. Aaron founded ArcLight Fabrication, his own company where he could work on projects that truly inspired him. It was a return to his roots, smaller scale, more personal, driven by passion rather than ratings. For the first time in years, Aaron could focus on the craft rather than the performance. The transition wasn't easy. Aaron had to rebuild his confidence, rediscover his voice, and learn to trust his instincts again. The world was watching, waiting to see if he could succeed without the Gas Monkey Garage platform. The pressure was immense, but this time it was pressure he had chosen for himself. His new show, Shifting Gears, gave viewers a glimpse into Aaron's world outside of Gas Monkey Garage. But even with his own platform, the trauma of those final years at the garage was evident. Aaron seemed more cautious, more protective of his creative space, more aware of the price that success can exact. The real tragedy of Aaron Kaufman's story isn't that he left Gas Monkey Garage, it's that the system that made him famous also nearly destroyed him. In an industry that celebrates larger-than-life personalities and dramatic moments, Aaron's quiet genius was both his greatest strength and his greatest vulnerability. Aaron's story serves as a cautionary tale about the cost of success in the modern entertainment industry. Behind every television success story, there are real people dealing with real pressures, real exhaustion, and real consequences. Aaron's departure from Gas Monkey Garage wasn't just the end of a business relationship. It was the story of a man fighting to save his own soul. Today, Aaron Kaufman continues to work on automotive projects, but on his own terms. He's older now, perhaps wiser, definitely more protective of his creative energy. The scars from his Gas Monkey Garage years are still visible to those who know what to look for, but there's also a sense of peace that comes from making the right choice, even when it's the hardest choice. The automotive world lost something special when Aaron Kaufman walked away from Gas Monkey Garage. But Aaron Kaufman found something even more precious, himself. In the end, that might be the most important build he ever completed. Aaron Kaufman's story continues to resonate with fans and industry professionals alike. His journey from mechanical prodigy to television star to independent craftsman is a reminder that success isn't just about fame or fortune. It's about staying true to the passion that drives you. The heartbreaking tragedy of Aaron Kaufman wasn't a single moment of devastation. It was the slow erosion of everything that made him special. But it was also a story of redemption, of a man who had the courage to walk away from everything he had built to save the most important thing he had, his love for the craft. For those who followed Aaron's journey, his story serves as both inspiration and warning. It's a reminder that even the most talented among us are human, that success can be a double-edged sword, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is start over. Aaron Kaufman may have left Gas Monkey Garage, but his legacy lives on. Every thoughtful design, every moment when craftsmanship triumphs over commerce, his influence can be felt. The tragedy wasn't that he left, the tragedy would have been if he had stayed and lost himself completely. Today, Aaron Kaufman stands as a testament to the power of following your passion, even when the path is difficult. His story reminds us that true success isn't measured in ratings or fame, but in the courage to remain true to yourself, no matter what the cost. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for further updates, and click the next video on screen now for another interesting story.